Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name's David Scobie. I'm the Dean of the School for Public Engagement here at the New School, and it's my great honor to welcome you to tonight's award ceremony and lecture honoring Theaster Gates and his Dorchester Project as the inaugural recipient of the Vera List Award. So it's wonderful that the Vera List Center has celebrated its 20th anniversary by initiating a biennial award, the Vera List Prize, given to a project that exemplifies the efficacy, the essential value of art making to social justice and democratic public life. The Dorchester Project returns us to the muck and the beauty of everyday life and labor, to the resilience of regular communities in the face of the cutting edge. In all this, it seems to me the Vera List Award winner provokes us in the very best New School tradition to self-reflection, to self-criticism, to creative uneasiness. And so I'm delighted that we're celebrating Theaster Gates and his work for both his resonance with our values and the way he discomfits our values.
Just a little bit on why we're here, and I think we're all here to honor Theaster Gates, who we think exemplifies everything that the Vera List Center is about. And I think David mentioned this, but we've been around now for 20 years, and this was a way to celebrate the 20-year anniversary by having this prize. And Theaster, again, represents that in a way that I think, with commitment to civic engagement, that no other artist today, I think, has been able to exemplify. And you've set the bar very high for us, Theaster, as I mentioned to you yesterday. And by looking at this crowd today, it seems like, again, there are a lot of people that are here to hear what you have to say, and I think that means that we've made the right selection. So thank you.
As we've heard, I'll be very brief. The prize honors an artist who engages in political themes and takes personal risks to advance social justice in profound and visionary ways. It is a biennial prize, international in scope, and is awarded for a particular project's long-term impact, boldness, and artistic excellence. Dorchester Projects by Theaster Gates is such an exemplary work. Okwi Enwisor, the chair of our jury, phrased it in this way, and I'll quickly quote him. Theaster Gates' project of historical reclamation, interrogation of archival legacies, and social construction of memory and cultural agency has it all tied together. Dorchester Projects is extraordinary. The installation layers a meditation on the present by connecting it to the haunted remains of the American past, making links with narratives of race consciousnesses, the civil rights movement, but ultimately probing how the African American experience is enlivened by ongoing processes of testimony. With deep appreciation to my fellow jury members, and on their behalf, it is my pleasure to present to you. Let me move here. The inaugural Vera List Center Prize for Art and Politics.
Thank you all for coming tonight. Thanks to Vera List for her life. A life complicated, not because it had to be, but it seemed like there was a moment for Vera and her friends and her colleagues, and it seems an appropriate moment now when people would ask hard questions of themselves, like, what else can I do? Why am I doing what I'm doing? How can I use the gifts that I have to achieve something other than the mundane tasks of the everyday? Is there any real value beyond the sweeping and driving and emailing and texting? And I think that in my studio, in my bedroom, in my library, on the block, I'm asking myself these questions all the time. In this moment, when we can do anything in the world, in this moment when we're gaining momentum around being fruitful, artful people, we have to make decisions about what we do with our time. We have to make decisions about how we learn and what we learn. And I'm suggesting to us all that whatever our disciplinary backgrounds are, whatever our professions or vocations are, that there might be room to expand it just a bit. I've been thinking about this expanded artistic practice thing as a way of imagining that what I might offer the world might be a little bit bigger than a fire hose. That in addition to the symbolic thing that I can put in the world in one way, there are also all these other things that are non-symbolic, that are about being human, that they have to do with my capacity to imagine that the gift that I can give is a gift beyond my studio. And so some of this for me just kind of boils down to what I feel called to do. And I'm talking about calling the way that my pastor talks about calling, the way that preachers when I was young would talk about calling. They like the thing that seemed like God woke you up in your sleep. But when you're called to do something, you live in the world different. Like other people's no's don't matter. And so I feel like rather than talking to you guys at all ever about pedagogy, I would want to really talk to you about belief. That there must be this way in which calling wakes us up in the morning. And if we can't find calling, and I would say you should spend most of your time just searching for that thing, because if you could find calling, then calling becomes the core, and it's like whatever you do works toward the calling. But the other thing that became really clear in my youth about this word calling was that calling, once the call happened, then there was this need to cultivate. That it wasn't enough just to have talent or purposefulness. It's like then this kind of deep cultivation, and I think calling always points towards something. And so I think, part of the reason that this practice seems weird is because it's actually not based in the logic of art or art history or urban planning at all. It has nothing to do with that. That's all the cares of this world. And so the political, the activist, the social practitioner, the idea of public engagement, those things are like, what are you choosing to stand for? And the miraculous part is really that we choose to stay, that we choose to constantly try to reconcile with ourselves the things that don't make sense, instead of saying, oh, no, I'm an artist, I don't talk about money. It's like, no. These things, in order for them to work, require resource. But I'm also suggesting that there might be some of us in this room who imagine a life a little more complicated and are willing to wrestle more with the things that happen inside and outside of their studios. And to you, I say, go all the freaking way. Thank you very much.